undergraduate program in Public Financial Accounting are internationally certified by CIPSAS. Its students have achieved national and even international recognition. 4. An active academic atmosphere with collaborative research between lecturers and students resulting in reputable publication. Furthermore, the undergraduate program in Public Financial Accounting also contributes to bringing about change by organizing the Competition of Public Sector Innovations or COPSI. This aligns with the vision of the undergraduate program in Public Financial Accounting to produce world-class, sustainable graduates in public sector accounting who contribute to the global order through the open and distance higher education supported by the latest technology. This makes me proud of the progress and agility of this program. I am increasingly confident in pursuing a career in the public sector, and I am ready to be an agent of change, building the future of public accounting to accelerate better public services.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, dan salam kebajikan. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to extend our warmest welcome to the Dean of the Faculty of Economics and Business Universitas Terbuka, Dr. Mairani Harsasi, SE, MSI, the head of the Public Financial Accounting Study Program Faculty of Economics and Business Universitas Terbuka, Mrs. Pesi Suryani SE M.Acc, our distinguished speakers, Associate Professor Tarek Rana Ph.D. from RMIT University Australia. Good morning, Prof. Tarek. Nice to meet you, Prof.
Thank you so much. Good morning to you all, and thanks for having me today.
Mr. Antares Firman, SE M.Prof.Acc from Universitas Terbuka. Good morning, Mr. Antares.
Good morning. Hi. Pleased to meet you all.
Our distinguished moderator for a highly relevant and evolving topic about AI and the future of public accountability, digital governance, procurement integrity, and fraud prevention. Advance in artificial intelligence or AI have brought about significant change across various sectors, including the public sector. Talk this international webinar, we will explore together how AI can support better digital governance, enhance procurement integrity, and strengthen fraud prevention efforts. We hope this event will serve as a platform to broaden our horizons, share experience, and foster collaboration in achieving greater public accountability in the future. My name is Sri Aikanindya Widyaningsi, a lecturer of the Public Financial Accounting Study Program, and I will be serving as your Master of Ceremony for today's international webinar session. To formally commence our event, let us begin by reciting Basmalah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The next agenda, may I kindly invite you to raise as we proceed to sing the national anthem of Indonesia, Indonesia Raya, followed by the hymnal of Universitas Terbuka. Before we begin the next agenda, let us first capture this precious moment. I will guide you to a virtual photo session starting on the count of 3. ICT, please help me with the screenshot. Okay. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, one again. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, thank you. Next, we would like to invite Head of the Public Financial Accounting Study Program to deliver her welcoming remarks. Mr. Pesi Suryani, S.A.M.Acc., the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Ria. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning and warm greeting to everyone. Honorable Dean of the Faculty of Economics and Business Universitas Terbuka, Dr. Mirani Harsasi, SMSI, Honorable Vice Dean for Academic Affairs, Faculty of Economic and Business Universitas Terbuka, Dr. Zainur Hidayah, Honorable Secretary General of Forum Dosen Akuntansi Publik or FDAP, Mrs. Rida Parwitasari, SMACC AKCA, distinguished speakers, Associate Professor Tarek Rana, Ph.D. from RMIT University, and Mr. Antares Firman, M.Prof.Acc from Universitas Terbuka. Respected moderator, Mr. Krist, Setyo, Yulianto, SAMACC, esteemed lecturers, students, researchers, practitioners, and all participants joining us today. On behalf of the Public Financial Accounting Program Study, Faculty of Economics and Business Universitas Terbuka, I would like to extend a warm welcome and sincere appreciation to all participants attending this international webinar. We are honored to have Associate Professor Tarek Rana from RMIT University and Mr. Antares Firman, who will share their expertise on AI and the future of public accountability, digital governance, and procurement integrity and prevention. Artificial intelligence is transforming the public sector by improving decision-making, strengthening transparency and accountability, enhancing public service delivery, and supporting more effective public financial management. At the same time, it also presents important challenges related to ethics, data privacy, cybersecurity, and procurement integrity. Today, webinar provide an excellent opportunity to us to explore how AI can be applied responsible to strengthen public accountability, improve digital governance, and support fraud prevention. I hope this discussion will broaden our perspective and inspire innovative ideas for the future of public sector governance. I would like express my sincere gratitude to the Faculty of Economic and Business Universitas Terbuka and the Forum Dosen Akuntansi Publik, our distinguished speakers, moderator, the organizing committee, and all participants for making this event possible. Thank you once again for joining us today. I wish everyone a productive, engaging, and insightful webinar. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Mrs. Pesi Suryani, for your welcoming remarks. Next, it is our great honor to invite the Dean of the Faculty of Economics and Business Universitas Terbuka to deliver the opening remarks and officially declare today's international webinar open. Dr. Mairani Harsasi, SAMSE, the floor is yours.
Oke, thank you Mbak Ria. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Distinguished speakers, Associate Professor Tarek Rana, Ph.D. from RMIT University, Australia. Good morning, Prof. Rana. Thank you for coming all the way from Melbourne. It is a great pleasure to have you here and sharing your knowledge. And also to our speaker, Mr. Antares Firman, from Universitas Terbuka, my respected head of the public sector accounting. Technology alone does not create accountability, and the real question before us today is not simply how government can use AI, but how it can do so responsibly and in the public interest, supported by reliable data, transparent system, meaningful human oversight, robust privacy protection, and clear lines of responsibility. And in the field of public financial accounting, digital literacy must therefore grow hand in hand with ethical literacy and accountability literacy. The professionals of the future must combine strong digital competence with integrity and an unwavering commitment to public trust. Through this webinar organized by the Public Financial Accounting Study Program in collaboration with FDAP, Universitas Terbuka reaffirms its commitment to learning that is accessible, relevant, and globally connected. I sincerely hope that today's discussion will offer practical insights and inspire further research and collaborations among us. And my deepest appreciation goes to our speakers, the Public Financial Accounting Study Program, FDAP, and our moderator, and also the entire organizing committee and support team who have worked hard to make this event possible. May this forum contribute to building public institutions that are more transparent, more trustworthy, and more accountable. With the remarks, I am pleased to officially open this webinar, AI and the Future of Public Accountability, Digital Governance, Procurement Integrity, and Fraud Prevention. I hope this webinar provides valuable insights and meaningful benefits.
Colleagues, students, and participants joining us through Zoom and YouTube. It is a privileged time to moderate today's discussion. So, artificial intelligence is convert digital visibility into responsible action and keep human responsibility visible. Our speakers approach that challenge from complementary directions. Associate Professor Tarek Rana provides a broad governance perspective on AI, management control system, Mr. Antares then brings the discussion into the institutional journey of Universitas Terbuka, where the response to fragmented system was integration, not simply automation. So, in this discussion, I will invite us to keep three questions in mind. First, how can digital visibility be converted into genuine answerability and corrective action? Second, what institutional capabilities and control must exist before an algorithm is deployed? Third, how can AI reduce fraud risks without merely redistributing or recreating that risk and without obscuring who remains accountable? So, we are honored to welcome two distinguished speakers. I will briefly introduce each speakers immediately before inviting them to deliver their presentation so that we can appreciate the experience and perspective they bring to this discussion. Speakers will have 30 minutes for the presentation, and I will provide a 5-minute reminder before the end of each allocation. We will hear both presentation first, and then continue with a joint discussion and audience question and answer session. The participants may submit questions at any time through the Zoom chat or the YouTube live stream. Please state your name and institution, indicate the speakers to whom the question is addressed, and keep the question concise. Before we begin, allow me to briefly introduce our first speaker. Associate Professor Tarek Rana is Associate Professor of Accounting and HDR Program Director in the School of the Accounting Information System and Supply Chain at RMIT University College of Business and Law. He also leads the college's research workstream and serves as accounting lead of the Enterprise AI and Data Analytics Hub. He holds a Ph.D. in accounting from the University of New South Wales and MBA from the University of Saskatchewan from Canada, and professional qualification including FCPA, ICA, ICMA, and CGMA. His research spans management control system, public accountability, digital transformation, artificial intelligence, and business analytics, risk management, sustainability, and performance audit. Let us begin with Associate Professor Tarek Rana, Ph.D. from RMIT University, Australia, who will present AI and Future of Public Accountability, Digital Governance, Procurement Integrity, and Fraud Prevention. To Associate Professor Rana, thank you for joining us. You have up to 30 minutes and the virtual floor is yours.
Many thanks, Mr. Krist. Really appreciate that. Good morning, distinguished colleagues, academics, practitioners, and dear students. It is both an honor and privilege to be able to join you here at University of Terbuka to discuss a topic that is rapidly becoming one of the most challenging phenomena of contemporary public sector management. I will draw upon my own research in public accountability, performance audit, risk management, resilience, to explore how AI can strengthen public governance, but only when it is supported by capable public sector institutions and responsible leadership. Around the world, governance are important aspect for managing organizations. Public governments are heavily investing in technology, particularly AI, machine learning, automation, digitalization, to improve efficiency, reducing cost, offering faster services, and respond to social and complex issues. Yet, while technological advancement has progressing at speed, public sector institutions responsible for governing these technologies have evolve relatively at slower pace. This creates an interesting dilemma and paradox. Governments now possesses unprecedented power in terms of analysis because they collect more data than ever. But public confidence in governance institutions are reducing at the same time. Many countries, we see that people can't trust their own government. They are concerned about the accountability. Citizens are increasingly not sure why things are done, why a particular public decisions are made. So in this background, my presentation today is therefore not about technology or AI, but is about a big problem of governance in the public sector context. I will argue that future of public accountability will depend not only how quickly we can adapt AI or become a master of AI, but how efficiently and effectively we can design governance systems that are capable of ensuring transparency, integrity, fairness, and public trust. Next slide, please. So if we look at the history of public administration, we see there are different challenges at different times. Previously, we confronted with industrialization, financial crisis, globalization, lots of public sector reforms. This time faces different challenges, mostly emerging from technologies. Governance today operate in environment characterized by constant change and complexity. For example, climate change, cybersecurity threats, geopolitical instability, demographic transitions, mass migration, budget constraints. These are all phenomena that we are experiencing in current public administration approaches. At the same time, we see unprecedented growth in digital technologies, and they are transforming every aspects of governance, from taxation, how government collect the taxation, healthcare, how government try to provide remote healthcare, education, policing, intelligence, education, border security, you name it. Because of that, now citizens are expecting more from their government because they want them not only to be efficient, but also to be more transparent, more ethical, more accountable. So these expectations goes beyond the notion of efficiency or budget management with certain rules and regulation, but it also encompasses the ideas of fairness, explainability, citizen participation, trustworthiness. However, unfortunately, many accountability systems, particularly in developing countries, largely designed for a past world, like an analog world. So they often rely on annual reports, audit reports, which is retrospective and kind of hierarchical in terms of structure. Whereas AI is everywhere, it can move everywhere, it can operate continuously, it can give us real-time feedback, it can learn quick, we can also learn quick. So things are more dynamic and fluid. And this is where our government decisions need to be in terms of public accountability. So one of the challenge for us is therefore not institutional, but not technological, but institutional capability. Unless accountability frameworks evolve alongside this digital emergence, governments risk creating increasingly sophisticated system. They're putting lots of money in upgrading their technologies, but at the cost of diminishing public value and public trust. So that's why I believe it is one of the most significant public governance challenge of today. Public accountability was never one thing, right? It was kind of a static concept. But our understanding of public accountability also emerged according to those changes. So accountability needs to evolve according to the society. It needs to be responsive to the changes around us. It could be political change, it could be climate change, it could be economical change, mostly technological change. So as I mentioned early in that in the early public administration, we placed a lot of emphasis on rule-based order, regulations, policies to ensure accountability. And in the middle part, we saw emergence of new public management, lots of reforms, focus on efficiency, focus on effectiveness, focus on economy. So we try to measure pretty much everything in order to show how responsible we are, how transparent we are. But more recently, network governance expanded accountability beyond government agencies to include citizens as their partners. Also, governments are required to partner with private sectors, not-for-profit sectors, and community organizations. So today we are in transitions, and this transition is amplified because of the digital environment around us. So AI, machine learning, algorithmic decision making, data analytics are fundamentally altering how governments are doing things, how they are collecting data, how they are collecting intelligence, how they are allocating resources, how they are identifying risk and delivering public services. That's why accountability cannot be understood solely on just reporting or just kind of looking at the processes, bureaucratic processes or administrative processes. Instead, it is increasingly involves ensuring that automated decisions remain transparent, explainable, ethical, aligned with public values. So, drawing on my own research in public accountability and performance auditing, I have observed that accountability is gradually shifting from the narrow focus on compliance and performance towards a broader emphasis on organizational capability through learning, adaptation, building resilience through continuous improvement. So this evolution reflects a deeper recognition that effective public governance depends not merely on following rules or developing new policies, but we have to maintain the public confidence and trust of citizens in an increasingly uncertain world. Next. So my proposition today is that AI will not determine the future of public accountability. It vice versa. The future of public accountability will depend on how governments can manage AI. This distinction is critical. Most of the current public discourse focuses on lots of opportunities that can come from AI. We talked about ability of AI for automatic things, quick decisions, improving efficiency, reducing cost, detecting fraud, generating some analytics. While these opportunities are undoubtedly important and essential, they are not the primary use or the cause facing by public sector institutions. Technology itself neither a problem or the solution. Technology itself neither inherently accountable or inherently unethical. So the algorithms that go into AI do not establish governance standards, but organizations do, and public sector has the capacity, most capacity to do so. Machine learning models do not determine public values. Democratic societies can do that. Consequently, investing in AI without investing in developing capabilities, we are creating new risk of faster decision making without necessarily producing a better decision. So we are actually making a decision, but this decision is not the decision. So throughout the history, technological innovations have consistently delivered significant benefits, but only when we accompanied this by appropriate institutional reform and developing our capability alongside. The same principle applies today in this AI-driven environment. Governments require governance arrangement that define responsibility, establish transparency, manage risk, ensure accountability. So, in short, governance must always precede technology. It should not be other way around. So my main argument is intentionally governance center rather than technology center. So we can deal with technology when we focus on governance. AI should be viewed not as a replacement of accountability or a new tool, but a catalyst requiring governments to redesign our systems that are capable of supporting more trust, building resilience, and becoming more ethical public administration. So why this matters? I already kind of highlight these things. Public trust is declining. If you look around the world, people are not trusting their own government. Government is not trusting their own people. And because of the technology, this risk is increasing. So it is important that we ask questions that goes beyond technology, goes beyond AI. So we need to think about relationship between governments and their citizens at the core of everything that we do, so that public trust remains one of the most valuable asset for governance processes. Because if we let this happen, the trust will be gone, and once it is gone, bringing this trust will be extremely difficult. People will not trust anything that see around them. So AI presents governance with extraordinary opportunity as well as the risk that I highlighted. If we can explore these opportunities, there would be improvement in service delivery. We can detect more fraud. We can optimize our resources. We can strengthen our evidence-based decision making. However, it simultaneously introduces new kind of risk relating to algorithmic bias. We all know that AI is not bias-free, right? Because humans are designing the algorithms. Privacy is a concern. Because of the emergence of technology and power, cybersecurity threats has gone up. People want more explanation. They want less discrimination, and everyone expects institutional legitimacy. If these risks are poorly managed, technological innovation may unintentionally undermine the very public confidence that it can strengthen. Next. Before discussing AI, I just like to highlight one thing about the core aspects of public accountability. And it is actually my PhD topic. I spent 4 years doing research on public accountability. The term is used, overused, sometimes abused. Yet, it is often misunderstood and interpreted too narrowly. Traditionally, accountability has been associated with compliance, efficiency, economy, ensuring that public officials, they always follow law, regulation, and follow the financial procedures. While these aspects of compliance remain essential today, it represents only one aspect of public accountability. As my own research shows, accountability is fundamentally about a two-way relationship between governments and their citizens. It requires public officials not only to explain and justify their decision, but also demonstrate that these decisions contribute to public value. Accountability therefore encompasses many things: responsibility, answerability, transparency, ethical code of conduct, organizational capability. Ultimately, these are the foundations of maintaining public trust in our system. Looking backwards, accountability evaluates whether public resources being managed properly. Looking forward, it means it encourages organizations to learn from their experience and learn from their mistakes. This perspective particularly important in the era of digital transformation. If accountability is reduced simply to outputs, governance may overlook critical questions regarding fairness, answerability, and there would be unintended consequences. So, AI actually allowing us to rethink about our public accountability, and we can conceptualize this as a dynamic governance capability rather than merely an administrative obligation. So it becomes a continuous process of building confidence in public decisions, whether it's made by AI, whether it's made by human, but most necessarily it should be made by AI with human supervision. Moving next, one of the most significant yet least discussed consequence of AI is fundamentally reshaping those relationships that I described earlier. Why? Because if you look back historically, public accountability had a kind of clear line of sight or kind of a circular relationship. For example, public servants will be responsible to their managers. Managers will be reported to their ministers. Ministers will then be accountable to the parliament. Parliament will then give accountability to the public or citizen. AI introduces a new actor in the mix of these things, right? So because of that new actor, the accountability relationships will be changed or impacted. As we know, important decisions are informed by AI nowadays, right? But there are other people involved in that process, like the software engineers, computer scientists, and then the way we train our data sets to be used with AI. So accountability therefore becomes distributed across much more complex networks and relationship and dynamics. Consider a government agency using machine learning to identify welfare fraud or prioritizing healthcare services, that which one we need to handle urgently. If an incorrect decision is made, responsibility becomes difficult to allocate. It is always the case. In public service, something goes wrong. At the end, we don't know who is the responsible person. But because of the technology, it is becoming more challenging. Would you blame AI? Would you blame the people who made the AI? Would you blame the people who developed the codes? Or you will blame the public manager who is responsible for the service, or you will blame the minister who is responsible for overseeing the service, or will you blame the parliament who passed the law or the policy? So governments must rethink and redesign accountability arrangement that recognize this new dynamic of the relationship with AI as an actor. But we need to accept that ultimately, as a human, we are responsible. AI can assist us to make a decision, make our work faster, but we cannot delegate our accountability to a machine or a program. That's why public organizations must therefore establish a clear governance structure that will help us to understand who will own the problem, who is responsible for oversighting, how we will manage these AI mechanisms, and how we can develop a system of explanation as to whether how government is using AI, right, and how their decisions are impacted by AI. So these are the important questions for us all at this moment. Next, AI is increasingly embedded across almost every aspect of public administration. Government now employ AI, right? I don't know how much government say, but they are a heavy user of AI. They have been using AI probably much longer than any of us, mainly for military purposes, security purposes, intelligence purposes. Nowadays, we can see the use in taxation purposes, right? They are probably collecting more tax. They are detecting more income that was unreported before. They are probably detecting more fraudulent financial transactions. They are probably helping us to optimize the traffic on the road, support disaster management, manage immigration, border security, so on and so forth. Machine learning enables government to analyze lots and lots of data. And these data can help us to identify hidden patterns that are not visible to human eye. That's why we can keep an eye on the emerging risk. And based on that, we can allocate our public resources which are getting limited by the day. These developments create significant opportunities if we can do it right to improve public sector performance and governance. However, they also expand the influence of AI over decisions that directly affect citizens, because the more we use AI, the more we become dependent on it. And then the more our decisions are impacted by what comes out of AI. So again, we need to have a mechanism that is like, people understand that how government is using and why they're using it, and government should be open to accept, like us as individual. We also need to be free and frank that the way we use AI, we cannot just hide it and pretend that no one, I'm not using, everyone else is using, right? So we need to open the gate for our personal accountability as well. Moving next, there are lots of opportunities, right? We all understand that, and I don't need to spend a lot of time discussing them. We can make better decision, we can make faster decision, we can deliver more services, we can improve resource allocations, right, based on AI. Because they can enable governments to move from reactive administrative processes towards more forward-looking and anticipatory governance. Why? Because AI is giving us not only descriptive analytics or diagnostic analytics, it's also giving us predictive analytics, right? And based on predictive analytics, we can anticipate certain things and we can prescribe certain action for that. So again, these things has come up in my own research. And in my research, I argued that resilient public organizations are distinguished by their ability to anticipate emerging risks and then adapt quickly to the disruptions or challenges and continuously improve organizational capability. AI provides this powerful tool which can help us to achieve that. And only then public sector organization can become more resilient organizations. However, it doesn't happen automatically. We need to put some thinking and structure around that. Government should therefore evaluate AI not simply according to the need of measuring performance or efficiency or how quickly we can reduce cost, but according to whether it strengthens public value, right? And whether the process is fair, whether it's transparent, whether our citizen is trusting in that process. In other words, the success of AI should ultimately be measured through the lens of public value rather than what it can do for us. Next, I look at the risk created by AI. Every technological innovation comes with opportunities as well as it comes with risk. But if we can manage it well and we are aware of those risks, right, we can convert them into opportunities. excessive reliance on automated recommendation that comes from AI would reduce our human capacity as a critical thinker. These risks extend beyond technological concerns. They directly affect our ability as a human. And then, by extension, it will also affect the ability of government institutions. And then citizens will lose more trust in the systems because they will see this. Next, I see one question that we can further kind of explore, and it deserves more attention, is what ensures that AI serves the public value or public interest. So for many years, management control system research shows that it has direct implication on people's behavior, organizational capacity, their decision-making process, so on and so forth. This management control system's role has become more important and significant because of the AI-enabled environment within our organization. Because AI can process information at a remarkable speed, but it cannot determine whether organizational objectives are fair, appropriate, whether risks are acceptable, what are the cultural values, right? We cannot let AI to define us culturally, but it should be opposite. Our culture should define AI. I will just add one more slide, and then I conclude because I'm running out of time. So I just like to highlight that one of the misconceptions around AI is that technological innovation naturally improves things, particularly governance. Experience from both public, private, and NGO sectors says otherwise. Good governance does not emerge automatically from the systems or the technology. It must be deliberately designed by humans. AI requires a governance framework that extends well beyond technical adaptation and implementation. Governments need clear policies that define appropriate use of AI. It could be different from government to government, but at least each government need to have their own definition for appropriate use of AI, ethical principles that will guide decisions made based on AI inputs, mechanisms for meaningful human oversight, and independent assurance processes that evaluate whether AI is fair, transparent, consistently upholding the public value. So with that note, I will conclude my talk, and if there is any question and the opportunity for Q&A, I'll happy to take questions. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Krist.
Okay, thank you very much to Associate Professor Rana for that insightful presentation. So your 5 principles, governance before technology, institutions before algorithms, controls before automations, trust before efficiency, and public value before innovation. So give us a disciplined foundation for thinking about AI in government. Your framework linking governance, risks, controls, assurance, and public value also makes clear that AI should strengthen rather than replace public citizen and human judgment. So thank you very much, Professor Rana. This provides natural bridge to our second presentations. We will know more from the broader governance framework to the institutional journey of Universitas Terbuka and consider what foundation must be built before intelligent accountability become possible. Allow me to briefly introduce our second speaker, Mr. Antares Firman, SA M.Prof.Acc, Ph.D. candidate in UITM, Universitas Teknologi Mara. He is a lecturer and researcher in the Public Financial Accounting Study Program, Faculty of Economic and Business, Universitas Terbuka. his academics and professional work at the intersection of accounting and information systems. With interest in accounting, information system, supply chains, public sector governance, digital transformation, procurement, and institutional accountability. So, his research includes higher education procurement, digital transformation, university, financial management transition, public accountability, and fraud. And he also brings practical experience in government procurement and holds professional credential in risk management and public sector accounting. In 2020, he received first place for Smart Procurement Management Information System at the second competition of public sector innovation. So we now turn to Mr. Antares Firman, M.Prof.Acc from Universitas Terbuka Indonesia, who will present digital transformation is not the finish line. Lesson from Universitas Terbuka on building the foundation for intelligent accountability. Mr. Antares, we look forward to learning from the Universitas Terbuka experience. So you have up to 30 minutes and the virtual floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Krist. Good morning, everyone, and distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, the Dean, Vice Dean, and also Head of Study Program, the FDAP, and students. Thank you very much. First, I would like to thank the organizers, the Public Financial Accounting Study Program at UT, Professor Tarek, Universitas Terbuka. I would, from here now, I will say UT. It's Universitas Terbuka. And the Forum Dosen Akuntansi Publik for giving me the opportunity to share some reflection today. As we have already heard that from Professor Tarek, it was very insightful, Doctor. And when I was told by the organizers that I will sharing stage with Professor Tarek, it's not even a match because I'm still doing my PhD and I'm hopefully by this year I will have my Viva exams. But the title is very related to my study journey. So before that, we believe that we have already had so many insights from Professor Tarek just now about the AI. But my part here is on the during 2020. I like to disclose first, disclaimer first. Since 2020 up to 2024, I've been highly engaged in the UT Digital Transformation Initiative, Professor. And then by 2024, I went for my PhD. So I would like to share from the lesson learned that we have gone in UT. We haven't gone to AI yet, but we have already built the foundation. We are going there. So that's why my presentation slide, please. Okay, that's why my title is okay. Yeah, digital transformation is not the finish line. So as mentioned by the dean early in the morning, that AI affecting us in so many lives, even making my presentation because I'm very good at design. I use AI as well, and because it's have a beautiful visual and yeah. So here are the things. I intendedly chose this title because for many years that public institutions have treated digital transformation as a destination. Even in Indonesian law that we have the law for information systems and electronic transactions. So people are thinking that digital transformation is a destination. We just digitize document, we automate process, we integrate system, we build dashboard. And now, today, we are talking about AI. But I would like to suggest something slightly different here. I think the digital transformation is not the finish line. It is the foundation of a much more difficult, not yet, certain introductions. Okay, so the I think it's the starting or the beginning of a difficult, more complicated challenge ahead. Uh, as Professor Tarek mentioned, how to build accountability without actually losing human accountability. If I may ask, raise some research question. So let me begin with a question. Imagine that earlier, Professor, when director assigned me to be the team leader for UT digital transformation, I begin with procurement management information system. So imagine that tomorrow an AI system integrate with the procurement management information system and then it detects a suspicious activity. Of course, that the system will automatically flag it, and then probably it may terminate the transactions or stop the transaction. But later in the day, we found out that the AI was wrong. So the question is, who is accountable? Is it the programmer? I think this is repeating what Professor Tarek just said earlier. Who is accountable? Is it the programmer? Is it the procurement officer? Is it the finance manager, the institutions, or is it the algorithms? So this is where how the debate begins. Okay, next slide, please. So the real question is not whether AI can detect risks. We know that AI can learn patterns, right? So AI can detect anomalies in transactions. It can process a volume of transactions that human auditor actually cannot do it manually. So that is one of the problem. So the question I would like to explore is how many this AI enabled digital financial innovation can reconfigure first the fraud contagion conditions, public accountability, and financial integrity within an integrated public governance system. So you can see that there are 4 items there. Okay, so AI is more than just a technological layer. It may change how risks are identified, how decisions are made, and where responsibility resides. So it's not actually mitigating like the fraud. It may probably reconfigure, but I will discuss later along the way. But before that, I would like to go a very basic. Next slide, please. So the institutional problem that came before the digital transformation. So we'll not talk about the AI. We will talk about the AI along the way, but I think Professor Tarek already mentioned so many things. We have so many insight about the AI going on, but I will go before the starting point was fragmentation, not technology. So it was fragmentation. Universitas Terbuka is a large-scale university and geographically dispersed institutional structures. So there are two time difference, two time stage in Universitas Terbuka, which is before the internet and after the internet. Before the internet, we have a mandate. We have a mandate to give education services because we are very different with the conventional university because we run an open distance learning education system, and our mandate by the government is to give education services across Indonesia. But at the time, the technology was very basic, so that's how we to cover the scope of the service. We have built a representative office all across Indonesia, and we have for now like we have like 39 representative office across Indonesia. So the idea is to reach the services of the ODL or education, but it turns out to have an issue in like the financing. The document was doing manually, and then the procurement had its own processes. Academic had their services maybe, and then they all are having a coordination gap. So it was an issue back then at the time. And then digital transformation often begins, people would think that it comes from a technological problem, but instead, in our case, it was come from a governance problem because it was fragmented. So therefore, at UT, digital transformation emerged partly as a response to the need for better coordination, a greater transparency, stronger traceability, and faster decision making. Okay, next. And this is why did transformation become necessary? So we can see, to explain this, I would like to see from the institutional theory lens. So there are three items, as we can see, that the coercive pressure, the normative pressures, and also mimetic and technological pressures. The coercive pressure for public institution, this includes regulations, audit requirements, accountability standards, and changing expectations from the government. The normative pressures, these come from professional standards, expectation of transparency, good governance principle, and institutional integrity. And the mimetic is, as government become more digital and integrated system, increasingly common, institutions face pressure to adopt more sophisticated way of managing information and decision making, and this is aligned with the law of the information system and also academic electronic transactions. So, but our experience also suggested that simply converting manual process into electronic process was not enough. The real response must have to be deeper than that. It's not just about automating stuff. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, I hope this figure can explain that the response was integration, not simply automation. This two distinction is very important. Back then, we can automate a fragmented process and still end up becoming a fragmented institution. We have application, we have number of applications, but they all are not integrated. So each unit has their own. A paper form can go a digital form. A manual approval can become an electronic approval. But if systems remain disconnected and responsibilities remain unclear, and information cannot move across institutional boundaries, like on the left side figures, so we still have governance problem remains left, right? So the transformation journey therefore involved moving from fragmented process toward interconnected workflow. But it's not just a collections of applications, but there's a governance, people, and also technology. So the value, we can conclude that from this slide, the value comes from how this system interact around the institution governance process. Technology, people, policies, procedures, organizational responsibilities, they all must work together. And then the next slide, this leads us to architectures of UT digital transformation. So I would like to share, I'm not going to explain in details, but this is the UT digital transformation pathway. On the left side, I've already mentioned about institutional theory. There's a driver and the pressure why we need to examine the UT digital transformations. And then going into the middle, there's a yellow box and also the green box is the situation or the conditions before and after the digital transformations. And in the middle, my UT, that's that's the real deal of the UT digital transformations. It's not just a collections of applications, as I said earlier, but it's a interconnected process governance. So the upper side, it's the academic applications, and the dot are the list of the application, and below is the non-academic applications, and they all are integrated one to another. And as the outcomes, I use a value creations approach. So not just becoming more efficient, more faster, but there's also of finance and non-finance aspect. Yeah. So the lesson here is digital transformation becomes meaningful when it creates an accountability architecture. So I would say this is an accountability architecture of UTEs, just not just merely a collection of application. Okay, next. So after we done that, through digital transformation, it expand our feasibility. When financial procurement, administrative assets, budget, and reporting information become increasingly connected, the management can potentially see more of what is happening across the organization because the workflow are become more clearer and there's no delay. The consistency of the data can be maintained and then easier to trace the document, and data also becoming increasingly available for analysis. It is necessary. The feasibility is necessary in digital transformation, but that's not just enough. It's not the final outcome, because a greater feasibility creates an assumption that is sometimes dangerous. So we start to believe that when we have more data, more dashboard, and more traceability, we have automatically have more accountability. And based on our practical experience, showing that it is not all true. All right, next slide, please. Yeah. So as I said, that more data does not automatically mean more accountability. We can see that there are two comparative pool here. First is digital feasibility and then institutional accountability. The digital feasibility, we have data, we have records, dashboard, and traceability. And the institutional accountability, we have ownership, explanation, judgment, and responsibility, and corrective actions. A dashboard can tell us that something unusual happened, but it cannot by itself determine who must explain it. A system can record a decision that was made, but it cannot automatically establish whether the decision was appropriate or not. But a digital trail can show who clicked on approval button, but it may not tell us who actually exercised judgment. So we can see that the gap is still there. So a system may contain workaround, responsibilities may still fragmented, some activities may continue through informal process, access privilege may be poorly managed. So I would summarize in one sentence that feasibility is precondition for accountability, but it is not a substitute for accountability. All right, next. So, I believe that I agree with the Professor Tarek just mentioned earlier that transformation is a capability, not a completed project. From this perspective, the transformation is not something an institution complete. It's a capability that the institution must continuously exercise. That's why I use the dynamic capability theoretical lens, Professor. There's a sensing, seizing, and transforming. But I would like to add a based on our practical experience. It turns out that after the transformation, there's a operational experience which showing us that after we did the transformation, a new problems arise. So the new problem, it gives new risks, and the new risk comes for institutional learning, right? So that's why we can see that it's an iterative, it's going around and around. So that's why dynamic capabilities, we add up some variables here, which is the operational experience, new risks, and also institutional learning, and then go to sensing, dynamic, on and on. So the transformation is not linear, it's iterative. And this leads to a paradox. Every new capability that technology creates also produce new governance question. Okay, next. Yeah. Consider what digital transformation gave us. There's a traceability, integration, feasibility, automations. These are valuable capabilities, but each one creates new question. Who owns the data? Who maintains the system? Who validates the information? Who responds when the system identifies a problem? Who can override automated controls? And perhaps most importantly, who is accountable for this if the system is failed? This is why institutional learning becomes so important. The transformation is simultaneously enabling and disruptive. Technology may solve one governance problem while at the same time it also creates another problem. And centralized information improve visibility but may create concentrated access risks. So this is exactly why the discussion about AI should not begin with algorithm. I would like to say that it should begin with institutional capability. Okay, next. Okay, then we ask what AI might actually add. I use the word what could AI add deliberately because I need to make an important distinction here. As you can see that this the three box here, I'm not claiming that every capability shown here has already been implemented. Rather, I'm asking, given an integrated digital foundation, what could AI potentially add? So imagine that there's three layers. First, integrated records, which we have already done at UT. We have integrated system from the budget, contracts, transactions, approval, documents. And then this is the AI-enabled system. We still have a thought on it, on this, Professor. We haven't done this. The AI-enabled analysis can do anomaly detections, pattern recognition, risk scoring, relationship analysis. And the third, institutional response. There's a human review, investigation, decisions, corrective actions, and learning. So meaning that AI can move financial governance from retrospective governance into, as Professor mentioned earlier, about toward predictive and responsive governance. So it's changed the perspective. Yeah. So and whether AI improve governance depends heavily on how mature the institution already is, which I will explain in the next slide. Next slide, please. Yeah. So we can see that this is the balance scale of capability and governance risks. So AI improves detection capability, but still the outcome depends on governance. So the role of the institutional maturity here very important to keep the both balance. So if the institutional maturity high, see the AI capability will of course have a significant impact to the outcomes. But if the institutional maturity is low, then the AI might probably just only repeating the weaknesses. So there's no impact there. Okay, next. Yeah. So this is the Fraud Pentagon theory lens, Professor. So I'm using this. We can see that how AI can have affect each the variables here: pressure, opportunity, rationalization, arrogance, and capability. So I'm not saying that AI can mitigate the risk, but it may actually reduce or redistribute it or recreate it. So, for example, automation may reduce opportunities for traditional manual manipulation, but privileged system can access may create new opportunities. AI-supported monitoring may reduce certain fraud capabilities, but technically, sophisticated actors may develop entirely new capabilities. Digital controls may reduce discretionary manipulations, but individual may stay rationalized inappropriate behavior by saying the systems allowed it. So, yeah. So the important point is I would like to say is AI does not eliminate the fraud pentagon. It may change the architecture within those five conditions operate. Okay, next. Okay. Uh, as I said earlier, that greater intelligence may make responsibility less visible, as we can see that a greater transparency at the same time also create algorithm illusions or uncertainty, and then the faster decision also create reduced deliberations, automated sorry automated controls at the same time also create responsibility diffusion, predictive accuracy, at the same time also limited explainability. So that's why it remains us with a real question: who remains accountable? So that's why a human decision maker ultimate accountability still needed there. Okay, next. So based on the journey suggests, first, the integration is necessary but not sufficient. Connected system improve visibility, but they do not automatically create accountability. Second, data quality may matter more than algorithmic sophistication, but poor information produce unreliable intelligence. Third, every digital process requires clear ownership, but technology cannot replace responsibility. Fourth, procurement integrity depends on cross-system visibility. Uh, Procurement risk may emerge across planning, authorization, contracting, expenditure, and reporting. The fifth, AI should support expert judgment, not replace it. Risk signals should trigger investigation, not determine guilt. Six, post-implementation capability matters. System require governance, maintenance, monitoring, and continuous renewal. And the seven is public value remains the ultimate outcome. So the purpose is not simply efficiency in digital transformation, but it is integrity. There is trust, fairness, accountability, and institutional legitimacy. So that's why this journey point us toward what I call is accountable intelligence rather than technology for its own sake. Next. Okay. This is the AI governance. I had this from literature that I read that, as we can see that at the center is the most basic foundation. This is the reliable data, and then the layer one we have integrated data foundations. Layer two, institutional governance. Layer four is trusted outputs, and layer four is responsible AI. So this is, I think, the governance. It should start from the AI governance before the algorithm is deployed. Next. Yeah. So this is the novel that I tried to create. So, Professor, about this AI, we have conduct a systematic review from the paper, and we try to propose this conceptual framework. As we can see that from the left side is the institutional theory as the supporting theory, and I've already mentioned earlier. But the main theory we use a dynamic capability theory. I think this is relevant to Professor Tarek already explained. And then there's a responsible AI enabled digital governance, and then the fraud pentagon theory, and then the last outcome is public value creation theory. But it is not going linear; it's iterative, going back to the dynamic ability and so on. So this is the conceptual framework. Yeah. Next, I'm not discussing details.
Mr. Antares, sorry,
Yeah.
gentle time reminder. You
Yeah, I
have
think this.
approximately
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Chris. I
yeah
think this is
2 minutes remaining.
2 minutes. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So I think this is the last screen. On just go next one. The finish. The last screen.
Yes, okay.
Okay, digital. Oh no, sorry. Before this. So this is digital transformation. It's not the finish line. It gives us data, feasibility, integration, traceability. And with AI, it may take us more further because it do prediction, risk intelligence, early warning, continuous monitoring. But public accountability still depends on something technology that cannot provide by itself, which is human judgment, institutional ownership, explainability, ethics, oversight, and the public purpose. So I would argue that public institutions should not begin by asking which AI system we should acquire. They should begin with a different set of questions. What data can we actually trust? Who own the decisions? Who can the outcome be challenged? Who remains accountable? And what public value is this technology expected to create? Because ultimately, the goal is not to create the most technological, sophisticated public institution. So let me close this with one final thought. The future of public accountability depends on not on transferring authority to AI, but on developing the institutional capability to govern intelligence responsibly. That will be all from me. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Antares, for that valuable institutional perspective. The Universitas Terbuka journey shows that the response to fragmentation was integration, not simply automation. So, integrated systems expanded institutional visibility, but as you emphasize, more data doesn't automatically mean more accountability. That's right. So, but ownership, explanation, judgment, and corrective action are still required. Your argument that the transformation is a continuing capability rather than a completed project also depends our discussion. AI may improve detection and prediction, but depending on institutional maturity, it may readjust, redistribute, or even regret from risks. So, thank you to both distinguished speakers for your excellent presentations. A clear point, convergence is that institutional capability determines whether AI strengthens or weakens accountability. We will now open the joint discussion and question and answer session. We will now open the floor for questions. If you would like to ask questions, please participant to raise your hand using the Zoom raise hand feature or type your question in the chat box. Okay, the first question from Miss Nurina Hartati. Please to unmute your microphone.
Thank you, Mr. Chris, for this opportunity. Coincident, I am conducted research is about disaster adaptive governance by integrating adaptation theory and governance theory. And my model consists of rules and regulation, power authority to strengthening accountability, transparency, fairness, and responsibility. I would like to ask for your advice, Prof. Tarek and Prof. Antares. It is important to add AI or technology in my models. If so, where and how should AI be positioned within my research model? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Norina. To Associate Professor Rana, may I invite you to respond first, followed by Mr. Antares.
Okay, thank you. That's a good question. It actually depends. My answer is it depends what you want to achieve with your research. If you have done it, then I think there would be an opportunity for you to extend your research with that AI variable in mind for your model. But if you are in progress. You have completed the data collection, have analyzed. I would still think that it would be a little bit late for introducing something new, because for our research, the main important thing is the phenomena that you wanted to study. And it should be conceived at the beginning of the research process, not during or after. So if you think that your research that you have done given you some insights that is leading you to that AI direction, of course, you can bring it as a part of your discussion, and then I think designing a new model or extending your existing model for new research would be more appropriate. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. To
Thank
you,
you very
Mr.
much,
Antares.
Mr. Chris and Dr. Nurina. I think this is unethical for me to respond, and I believe this is a PhD research questions, and Professor Tarek already mentioned very clearly about the methodology, that it must go with the problem statement, and then you decide the. But I think I'm not ethical to respond to Dr. Nurina, and let's take Professor Tarek respond as a clear answer, as a clear response. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for Mr. Antares. Back to Mrs. Norina. Do you have any response from feedback to our distinguished speakers? It's clear, Ms. Norina. Okay, thank you very much.
Tapi nggak bisa nyamuk lagi.
It's clear. Okay. Uh, thank you. In the text box, we have a question from Hurian Kamela. The question is, how can governments ensure accountability when using AI for policy implementation? So I would like to invite Associate Professor Rana to respond first, followed by Mr. Antares Firman.
Okay, thank you. So the question was how AI can help policy formulation. Is that correct?
Yeah, when using AI for policy implementation, how government ensure accountability?
Okay. Um, let me take it to a bit of a bigger picture in terms of government uses of AI. As I mentioned earlier in my talk, that there is no doubt people are using AI, and the managers who are developing policies for government, they are also doing it. I think using AI for policy is one problem, but the bigger problem is developing policies for AI. So we need to develop policies that will govern AI. So I'm not focusing on the use of AI, but I'm just focusing on that which one should lead, right? Which one will lead this process. So I think definitely AI has come too far. Probably the policy has not caught up yet. But now I think governments have the opportunity to play a reading load, not just catch up. They need to go ahead and try to manage whatever has already happened, and then kind of provide guidance what needs to happen in the future. So in terms of policy development and the AI, the area is huge and opportunity is enormous. I think if you have any interest in this space, either as a researcher, as an academic, as a policymaker, you should embrace this. I think this is a green field of research activities. we don't have much in this space. As I mentioned in my talk, that most of the time we will see two strands of discussion. One, the opportunities of AI, on the other hand, the dangers of AI. Right, but how we should govern AI and use it for the benefit of our people and citizenship, and then enhance accountability for public value. These type of things, I think, is very important at this stage. So it can go both ways, that you can think about policy for governing AI. All right, and at the same time, if you want AI to give you some better information that can give you better insights, and that insights you like to use to develop your policy further, that's of course, I think, welcome, most welcome, because I think both speakers today, they emphasize that AI can handle a lot more data than human can, right? But they cannot give you the solution. So if we want to develop policy, definitely we can use AI to collect more data, analyze it more deeply, derive the insights, and then contextualize. Then you problematize. Then you kind of become reflective, and then take it as an input for your policy development. So that would be my response to that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Rana. So, Mr. Antares, may I invite you to add your
Sure, sure.
perspective,
I will just
particularly regarding to how this accountability mechanism? Okay, thank you, Prof.
yeah, thank you. So I was just like to add up a bit about this AI. As I earlier mentioned, that we must start with the accountability issue that we want to address before we make it as a policy of the AI. So earlier I have already mentioned, first we must know that what problem we want to address, and then we start begin with what AI features that we need, or so it must come from there first. Then I think Dr. Tarek already explained very well in details, but I just want to make a point that it must come from the what issues or problem that we want to address. I think that will be all. Mr. Chris, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Antares. The next question, direct to Professor Tarek from Miss Pesi in the chat box, Prof. Tarek. Professor Tarek, the question is, throughout your presentation, you emphasize that good governance is more important than technology itself. As governments around the world increasingly adopt AI, what practical advice would you give to public sector leaders in developing countries such as Indonesia to ensure that AI strengthens accountability, transparency, and public trust rather than creating new governance risks?
Thank you for that. That's another good question. That's why I think it captures the essence of two presentations today. Both of us kind of said that we need to understand the problem first. And how can we understand the problem first? If we understand what's our objective. If we set our objective that, okay, we want to achieve public value, or we want to ensure accountability, then definitely we'll have some framework in our disposal as to how we can think about regulating AI. So that's why the emphasis on good governance came, because technology is evolving, right? And technology will change. But at the same time, if government does not contextualize problem in their own way, then they are actually not understanding the problem. So I think for developing country or developed country, their context is different, their systems are different, their culture is different, their resources are different. So for public sector leaders, they understand those contextual things. I think in order to thinking about governing AI, they should actually start from there and try to understand the problem from their own context. Because Indonesia, for example, will have different strengths and weaknesses, different opportunities than Australia. Right. So, although we are probably talking about the same problem, but the solution will come from differently because the starting point are different, because the countries have different maturity level for their governance systems, and then public sector understands the public trust in their own country, so they would understand that which way they can make it more transparent, which way they can bring their citizen into these conversations. Again, if you are adding tools and kind of multiplying tools, definitely you are multiplying your problems and your risk. And from our second presentation, we already have seen it, that more data means more insight, more insights means more things to understand, and then if you try more things, then more risk will come up, right? So this is why the contextualization lies, and at the heart of this would be the objective and the problem. So the objective will define the problem, and then problem will define what sort of governance tools you need to put in place. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Tarek. May Mr. Antares, would you like to add a brief perspective from the Indonesian context, especially UT
I think that will
context?
be enough for me now.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you very much. Back to the questioner, Miss Bessie.
Okay, it's
You
clear.
have any response?
No, it's clear, Mr. Chris.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, the next question, we have questions, Prof. Tarek and Mr. Antares from Miss Ratna from Melbourne. Thank you both for your insightful presentation to Mr. Antares and Professor Tarek. Miss Ratna has two related questions. First question to Professor Tarek. The question is, you mentioned that governance should come before technology. However, in reality, AI adoption often advance faster than regulatory reform. How can public institutions ensure that governance frameworks evolve quickly enough to keep pace with technological change while still encouraging innovation? Professor Tarek.
Thank you, Krist. Thank
Okay.
you, Ratna. We are in different places. Ratna is in Melbourne. I'm in Jakarta. So thanks for your interesting question. I'll go back to my original point that I tried to make throughout my discussion today, that you need to put something at the center of your thinking, right? Either you put the problem or either you put the objective. So in my talk, I try to put public value at the center of everything. So what I said is that the ultimate purpose is not just managing technology or managing AI, because technology innovation comes and goes, it changes, it sometimes faster than even before we blink. So that should not be our focus. Our focus would be developing on capabilities of governing. And how can we do that? Because if we are capable of developing a good governance, then we will establish ourselves in the right strategic direction. We'll develop like the necessary institutional capabilities. We will distribute responsibility accordingly. And then we'll have some ethical guidelines. Doesn't matter whether technology is moving faster or we are behind. as long as we can establish this framework for our good governance, we can govern any technology. And then the elements of risk. There would be a risk that technology is going ahead, we are going behind, but we just need to make sure that we develop an integrated system that can handle anything. And this is where the resilience comes in, that we learn, we adapt, we take the opportunities, and then we are better prepared for the next challenge. So this challenge would be always there, and we will kind of need to develop our capabilities so that we are better at managing these things whenever it appears again or reappears, right? So that's what I will say, that at the end in my talk I kind of highlighted these things that put public value at the center of everything, and then automatically we will be better prepared to manage it. But this management should not be reactive or retrospective, right? If we say, okay, we are behind, technology ahead, then we cannot make progress. We have to take control, and we need to become a leader. And this was probably my key message, that we cannot let technology move ahead of us. We need to kind of develop systems and processes so that we can manage it. Their form can change, but they will behave in the same way, same manner. So if we are ready, that's not a problem. I hope it answers some parts of the question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Tarek, for that powerful concluding insights. So, back to the questions. The question direct to Dr. Antares.
Yeah.
The question is, as a public organization increasingly adopt AI to detect procurement fraud, is there a risk that this could drive fraudsters to develop more sophisticated techniques for evading algorithmic detection? If so, how can public organizations balance the benefits of AI with the need for human judgment and oversight? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chris. Ms. Ratna, thank you. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, absolutely, that is real. In fact, this is why I argue that AI does not simply eliminate fraud risks. It can reduce some fraud opportunities, of course, but it may redistribute others and probably potentially recreate a new one risk. So once organizations use an AI for anomaly detections, pattern recognitions, and supplier risk scoring, probably continuous monitoring, the fraudster at the same time also adapt. So instead of using an obvious manipulation techniques, they may try to imitate a normal transactions patterns, split transactions, manipulate underlying data, and exploit model thresholds, collude in ways that are less visible maybe to the system, or probably target the people and process surrounding the algorithms. So we make kind of getting into continuous adaptation cycles where AI improves detections, then the fraudsters change behavior. The institution learn, and then detections capability must evolve again. So this is where I mentioned earlier, where the human judgment is very critical. So we cannot just go hand over to AI in decision making. This is where the human judgment becomes critical. So I would like to suggest three things. Probably first is AI should generate risk signal, but it doesn't determine guilt. Okay, and then the second is the organization needs a combinations of algorithm intelligence and professional skepticisms. And the third is the oversight must be continuous. And I think the organization here must always review the model, test and then learn the behavior and the pattern. So I would not frame this as a AI versus human judgment, but instead the stronger model would be AI detects, humans interpret, and institution investigate. The governance maybe decides, and the system continues learn. I think that I hope that's answers part of your questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Antares, for that insightful explanation. Okay, maybe from Ms. Ratna, have any response to give it back to our distinguished speakers? Or maybe it's clear. Okay, and the next questions from Tommy Permana to both our distinguished speakers. The question is, what is the tools for AI public fraud detection? Can you describe what is the proper practical application tools for it? I will invite to Associate Professor Rana, you to respond first, followed by Mr. Antares. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. There is no such specific tools that can detect fraud in every context, right? So you have to, I think, develop your tool based on what you are trying to achieve. For example, if you are trying to reduce the tax fraud, right, then definitely you need to have a system which is integrated system where the information comes from, like, thousands of sources, and then AI capable of going through those information and finding what is reported, what is not reported. So I cannot name any vendor or any particular software that can do this, but I think, as I mentioned earlier, it depends on every government who they can trust with in terms of this type of work. So there is no single software is used by every governments around the world. So I think it is also contextualized, because Australian government will develop such tools based on their own experience, based on the citizens' behavior, based on the way people transact, right? So that we can find what are the undeclared incomes is, where is, like, manipulation of tax. So these things can go to any government services that you can think about, and I think it would be a kind of heavily customized tool that that government will be using for that particular purposes. And this is where the government capability comes in, right? If you just think of getting a tool from the shelf and then use it in your situation, that's where the problem is. That's when the AI would be ahead of us and will be playing catching up. But we need to develop the capability so that government can develop their own AI-based technologies for the purposes they want to serve. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Professor Rana. To Mr. Antares, would you like to add brief any response for this
Yeah,
question?
thank you, Mr. Chris. Just would like to add a bit. I, s- s- I agree with Professor Tarek. I haven't heard any tools that, as the question, what is the tools for AI public fraud detection? I never heard about that, but probably some big institutions like the I don't know. I might be wrong, but I haven't heard. But I think there's no such a one size fits all. So it depends on the governance. So I think it must be uh, in-house development. Uh, I just want to say that I haven't heard any typical AI tools that can detect fraud. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Antares. So the main lesson is that AI effectiveness depends not only of the software, yeah, but also on the government's ability on understand the problem. Okay, maybe this is the last question before we close session today. This question is, good morning, Prof. Uh, what legal and ethical parameter must government establish to guarantee algorithmic accountability when AI is used to serve the public, Prof?
Okay, thanks again. This is a good question. I think this is what governments around the world is struggling at this moment to find out how we can go into the black box. So when something uh, goes inside this algorithmic way, it becomes a black box and no one else has insight in this, and they don't know actually what is there and how it was prepared and trained. So that's why I'll go back to the idea that I think government lacks the capability in order to interrogate those algorithmic codes inside a AI system or tools. So I would suggest these legal and ethical parameters will be better understood when we know actually what happens in the black box. So how these things are designed, how these things are tested, how these things are run. So I think we need to kind of go little bit deeper in order to invest in these capabilities, and government should think about this at the light of accountability. And then we say, okay, if we want to ensure accountability of AI use, what things we don't know about these algorithmic codes, and then if we have the technological capability and skilled public servants, then definitely we will come up with that legal and ethical parameters. But I'm sure there are other legal and ethical parameters around us. Probably we don't have, a particular law or ethics around AI or algorithmics, but definitely we have code of conduct for ethical uses of public resources, ethical decision making, ethical leadership, accountability is underpinned in everything. So unless and until we develop that technological competence, we don't have the capacity to draw the boundary of legal and ethical parameters. But until then, we have to use our other legal and ethical parameters that exist in a government system. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Tarek, for the insightful response. So one important point from your explanation is that algorithmic accountability requires governments to understand what happens inside the so-called black box, including how can AI system is designed, trained, and test and applied. Yeah, Prof. Yeah. Okay. Maybe to Mr. Antares, would you like to add your perspective?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chris. Interesting questions. And I think this is related to my explanations earlier. Uh, I believe that the government need to establish a clear legal safeguards and ethical safeguard because the legality alone is not just sufficient, right? So, as I said earlier, first we need a clear responsibility. Uh, who is accountable for the AI decisions? Because earlier in my slide, I said that it can have illusions, algorithms, and then who is accountable for that? And then the second thing is the transparency and traceability. Uh, The third one may be the right to challenge and seek remedy, as this is related to my earlier story about it turns out the AI becoming wrong, and then where's the human, I think, must have an opportunity there to the right to challenge and seek remedy. And then the fourth is yeah, I think the regulation should be risk-based and proportional. That's what I say in relation to my early presentations. That will be all from me.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Antares, for adding the important perspective. So, um, thank you, Professor Tarek, and thank you, Professor Antares, um, for your outstanding presentation and its insightful discussion. I'm sure today webinar has provided valuable knowledge and inspiration for all participants. It has been a great honor to moderate this session. So we have now reached the end of our discussion session. On behalf of all participants, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to Associate Professor Rana and Mr. Antares Firman for sharing their valuable insight with us. Before I summarize, I invite each speaker to share one final message for our participants. Uh, please keep the message to approximately 1 minute. Uh, First, to Associate Professor Rana, and then followed by Mr. Antares to share one final message. Prof. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chris. My takeaway message would be we need to talk about these things more often, particularly the way we use AI, because as I said, even at the personal level, people are very shy to tell how they use AI. They pretend that nobody else see it, nobody can understand that this coming from AI. So I think we need to remove that stigma from our mind, because there is no hide and seek. Because my starting point is very clear that I assume everyone uses AI. If someone pretends they don't use AI, so that is another ethical question, because that brings me more doubt about that person's character and integrity. So we need to open up, we need to discuss, because once we open up and discuss, then we can see what's the pluses, what's the minuses, what's the challenges, what's the risk. And I thank University of Terbuka to organize these sessions and nominating this type of topic for open conversation. I think every academic institution, research institution should spend time on this, and every researcher, every academic, every student also think about that, because we always want our student to kind of put the best use of AI. But as an academic, we also have the responsibility to become the role model. If I do something and I cannot ask others to stop not doing it, right? So I need to kind of, based on our experience, we need to teach our students that AI is here, right? And there is no running away, but we just need to understand the limits and need to understand which way we should embrace this and which way we should not, because there are certain consequences that comes from that. So I think that would be my last message, that please speak up, talk about it, don't be shy away, use it for your research, use it for your teaching, use it for your conversation, but share the knowledge that you are drawing from that, and be honest about this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Tarek, for that important final reflection. So turn to Mr. Antares. Please
Yeah,
share one final message. Please keep the message to approximately 1 minute.
yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chris. So based on my practical experience, it tells me that AI can we know that AI can help the public institution to see better, detect earlier, and respond faster. But one thing we must know that the technology alone is not sufficient to create accountability. So the real challenge is to ensure that the greater intelligence does not mean it leads to a visible responsibility. So as we are moving toward the AI government, yeah, AI-enabled government. So let us invest not only on the algorithms, but also in a better institutions governance, reliable data, professional judgment, and maybe a clear human accountability. So AI must and should strengthen our capacity to serve the public, not replace our responsibility to them. That will be all for me. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much for your impressive and important reflection, Mr. Antares. Allow me to close the session with the brief reflection. The first, accountable AI begins before the algorithm. As I said, Professor Rana, principles of governance before technology and controls before automation, together with Mr. Antares, with Universitas Terbuka journey, show that reliable integrated data, institutional capability, and clear governance arrangements are essential foundations. The second, digital visibility is necessary, but it's not accountability by itself. Accountability requires clear ownership, decision right, answerability, examination, professional judgment, corrective action, management control, independent assurance, and continuous monitoring. And the third, AI can improve detection, prediction, and monitoring, but it might also redistribute or recreate fraud risks and make responsibility less visible. So human oversight, ethics, contextual understanding, professional skepticism, and responsibility for decision must therefore remain firmly anchored in public institutions. So the third message is clear. Digital transformation is not the finish line, and AI is not a substitute for governance. The ultimate test is whether technology strengthens integrity, public value, and trust. On behalf of the organizing committee and all participants, especially thanks to Associate Professor Tarek Rana and Mr. Antares Firman for sharing their expertise and everyone who contribute question and follow the discussion. With that, I conclude my role as the moderator and I will now continue to Miss Ria Ekandinia as the master of ceremony to get us through the next agenda. Miss Ria, the virtual floor is yours. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Krist Setyo Yulianto, SA M.Acc, for moderating this morning session. All right, thank you for the very interesting discussion. We will now move on the next item on the agenda, which is the presentation of certificates of appreciation to the speakers and moderator. Here is the certificate for our guest speaker, Associate Professor Tarek Rana, Ph.D. And next, here is the certificate for our guest speaker, Mr. Antares Firman, SA M.Prof.Acc. And the last certificate, here is certificate for our moderator, Mr. Krist Yulianto, SA M.Acc. Give a round of applause for our speakers and moderator. Okay, thank you. And then I would like to invite Prof. Tarek and Mr. Antares, as well as Mrs. Pesi Suryani, to come up to the front to present souvenirs to our speakers. Okay, and we will capture this moment on camera. ICT, please. Okay, and I would like to invite Mr. Krist Setyo Yulianto to come forward for a group photo session. Oh, foto semua. Oke. Berbuat dulu. Maybe for the first pose, formal pose. And second pose, energetic pose. Yes. Okay. And the last pose, UT pose, Prof. Yes. Okay. Okay, we would like to express our deepest gratitude and appreciation to Professor Tarek and Mr. Antares for sharing her knowledge and experience at today's international webinar event. We hope that this cooperation and collaboration will continue in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, it feels like no time has passed since we began of international webinar. We would like to express our gratitude to all participants who have actively participated from the beginning to the end of this event. We hope that the material presented today can broaden your knowledge, expand your perspective, and contribute significantly to the development of public sector accounting, both in academic and professional contexts. With the words, Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin, we officially close today's international webinar. My name is Ria Eka Nindya. Thank you for your kind attention. See you on the next academic event. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Terima kasih.
Tanah airku Indonesia, negeri elok amat ku cinta. Tanah tumpah darahku yang mulia.
Recording stopped.